Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio here with you this morning. Back in studio together after a few days, really a couple of weeks. We took some time doing some different things there while we have that possibility. Less than 10 days or so prior to fall camp or preseason camp. We kind of call it fall camp. I'm trying to stop. Preseason camp starting for Ole Miss football. We'll talk a good bit of football today, a good bit of NFL going on, and whatever else strikes our fancy over the course of the next hour and change here on the show. A show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. You know about the Exxon mobile app. You download it, take a picture of the QR code right there at the pump. It'll open it up automatically. You get 1,000 bonus points. That equals $10 free at the tank with the Oxford Exxon and all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. Also, lunch specials, $5.69, two sides bread, 32-ounce drinks, and more here locally. So all that's going on. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
Well, Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes, and business hours is right to the bottom line. There's no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Great place to go grab a burger, a po' boy, appetizers, great beer selection, full bar, and more there at Rafters on the Square in Oxford, and also Rafters in New Albany.
Anything you're trying to get done here in the next 10 days or so? What is it now? You got stuff around the house. What's the path before we get going more full time?
Nothing really. Just kind of back at it, I suppose.
I thought you kind of felt like that a little bit for whatever reason yesterday. I don't know why that necessarily is. I guess no actual news out of Ole Miss yesterday. I was trying to think if I missed anything, but I think yesterday was a completely dead, quiet day, as there will hopefully be a few more of them prior to everything getting kicked up and started again. Did you see this? We're going to talk quarterbacks today, so we can kind of start here. I thought it was funny. Did you see where they tried to put the fantasy point values next to Kyler Murray as far as when Call of Duty came out every year and how potentially his game had suffered around the release date of Call of Duty the last 3 years?
Well, I saw the clause in his contract, essentially a homework clause in his contract, 4 hours a week.
Which is not much.
And I just thought it was a really bad look for both parties. I mean, if you're betting on the Cardinals to win a Super Bowl, yesterday was some cold water for you. If you're having to incentivize your starting quarterback, who's just got a $230 million deal, if you're having to incentivize him just to do the bare minimum amount of study without being distracted by video games or his iPad, I mean, that's a weird thing. But the fact that you would put that clause in the contract at the same time that you're giving them $250 million.
And how are you checking it?
They apparently have access to it where they can see whether it's active or not. It's a clause.
So the timer starts when he opens whatever this program is or whatever this deal is for him.
It's a clause in his contract and it is executable from what I read. I mean, it is potentially for Kyler Murray, it is a $200 million gamble that he takes if he doesn't do his homework or if he tries to do his homework while he's playing a video game. I mean, he must have the most severe case of ADD. And look, at the risk of sounding like old man yells at cloud, I mean, you walk into like a bar or a restaurant and you see people that are sitting at a table together and they're just doing this the whole time, just staring at their phones, is bizarre. That there's it is so addictive, they cannot just simply put it down for an hour. You walk into any restaurant, it's what you see. And I don't go to many restaurants. I was out of town, so I went to a couple of restaurants that I don't go out at all, but I was out there, and you see that, and it's just kind of like, whoa. You see people driving on the interstate, and they're driving a hunk of metal 80 miles an hour down the interstate, and they're doing this. just locked in on their phone. It must be an issue. I mean, I was listening to Sam Presti, the general manager of the Oklahoma City Thunder, talking about the new reality of dealing with the young people that they deal with. And he was talking about how you're always dealing with young people who are constantly in their phones. He goes, at all times, they're in their phones. And that it's something that you have to acclimate, you have to change the way that you deal with people, the way that you structure your organizations and such, so that you can actually have quality interactive time.
I guess what gets me about it is 4 hours is, again, a very small amount of time in a week to study independently or whatever it is you need to be doing as a starting quarterback in the NFL to win football games. And I was reading a column in the Arizona Republic, and it's what I agree with the most, is A, I don't think it's ultimately enforceable in a lot of ways, and B, even if it is a problem, that just should go into how much you pay him, because all you did actually was hurt your own program or your own franchise from a PR standpoint yesterday. All you did was make everyone question the quarterback you're giving $250 million to.
Oh, yeah.
And question whether your team and your administration and everything is above board in the way to be competitive and successful in the NFL. I mean, it was actually dumb on a number of levels to even put it in there. It makes no sense to me.
Well, now every reporter who covers that team, when they're in training camps, all 32 training camps have started as of today, all of those reporters now are going up to teammates and asking about this. You have to. And players are going to get mad. They're going to yell at reporters. But listen, if I'm an editor and my outlet covers the Arizona Cardinals, the beat writers, plural, who I have covering the Arizona Cardinals are asking about this today. We're doing a story on this today. Do you feel like Kyler is putting the time in that it requires to be an elite NFL quarterback? Do you think your quarterback is as prepared as Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert? Because he's getting paid like it. Do you have a clause in your contract that makes you study 4 hours?
And I'm assuming no one else does.
I mean, I'm guessing. Now,
otherwise, this wouldn't be
and
this
that's
level.
The other thing is we're digging into all the other contracts. You're calling every agent who represents a player on the Cardinals roster today. Hey, is this clause in your contract? And then I've got, if I'm at like The Athletic or I'm at ESPN, I've got the reporters who are covering the other teams because they all have quarterbacks too. Hey, do they have a clause in their contract involving study, non-distracted study?
3 agents yesterday told the Arizona Republic that they have never seen that clause in another contract as long as they've been in business in the NFL. Some of this stemming from Murray last year telling the New York Times, quote, "I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit there and kill myself watching film. I don't sit there for 24 hours and break down this team and that team and watch every game because in my head I see so much." So he told the New York Times essentially he doesn't watch film.
And that's all well and good if you're winning Super Bowls, but he's not. And frankly, in the playoffs, he didn't play well. And the guys that are winning Super Bowls, that are playing well, are watching a lot of film.
His reputation has been popped by this hugely.
Yeah, for sure.
Popped.
Yeah. And you question the Cardinals.
Every time he loses a game now, hey, not prepared? What's up?
Yeah. Well,
something that wouldn't even be a thought otherwise.
Sure.
Throw a pick and you didn't read a cover or whatever, and there we go. If he'd watched a little more film, he'd have seen that. Whatever. I mean,
yeah. Well, now people are asking him about his habits. How much video games are you playing? How old is Kyler Murray? 26, 27 years old?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. How much do you play?
I mean, there's weird stuff even here. You know, in February, Murray, he scrubbed his Instagram account and most of the reference to the Cardinals. Was pretty clear that he was disgruntled in some ways about contract, different stuff. Cardinals took their time. In a press conference last Friday, Murray said that he gave Burkhardt, the general manager for the Cardinals, a, quote, little crap for that. He put a lot on me, talking about them taking their own time and getting the contract done. There's trouble in Whoville a little bit here in a way that is
a little. But then they give him $230 million.
I feel like it dovetails into our next conversation. Teams get these quarterbacks that either are or are close to being elite, and by God, just give them the moon no matter what else is going on with them.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, whatever. I mean, I know it's not the same thing, but you know what I mean. I mean, they just pay them.
But it's
and
similar
go, please
things.
God, be the savior to go win a title.
It's similar things.
Well, yeah, it's a problem off the field. I mean,
if I'm paying you
yes.
$250 million to be the face of my franchise, frankly, I expect you to be the first one in and the last one out. I expect if we lose, it's not because of your play. It's not because of your preparation. It's because we just didn't get it done. Be a hell of a pill to swallow if the reason you can't get out of the brutal NFC West is because your quarterback's not prepared enough and he's the one making $250 million. That would be a locker room issue. I mean, those guys expect the quarterback to be the leader.
Because that's what I'm wondering a little now is, did you also create that cancer that wasn't even there in your locker room? That players that went, oh, we're all preparing, we're cool, Kyle, or whatever. Now you go, well, I mean, hold on a minute. Why is that in there? Is he not preparing?
Well, sure. If I'm one
is it a problem? One of the wide receivers goes, hey, what's up?
If I'm one of the veteran players on that team, sure.
You want to walk in the GM's office and go, why? What?
Yeah, what's up? But now they're all going to get asked about it today and tomorrow.
And you're right. They're going to yell and scream and
they're going to get pissed off and they're going to confront reporters. And why are you asking me about this? And the reporter's going to be like, I got no choice. Yeah. If you work for the Arizona Republic, this is a story today. Yeah. Frankly, this is the story today.
Yeah. Some reporter's going to walk in and go, hell. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Well, they're going to do their job.
Yeah.
This is going to be the job that's been assigned to them. And if you're working for the Athletics want to expect that you have something on this. And and as the story breaks, that this is like when agents start telling you, yeah, this is new, I've never seen this before. So now you start calling around to other organizations and, hey, does Aaron Rodgers have this clause in his contract? Nope. Does Tom Brady ever had this clause in his contract? Nope. So which begs the question, how bad of a problem has this been? Bad enough for you to put it in the contract. So how bad was it?
It tells me there's been some episode that was very obvious that we don't know, right? Something has happened.
That's my guess.
My guess is some major issue.
My guess is they felt like he wasn't prepared. I mean, look, I was listening to the Andrew Luck podcast, which was incredibly well done. And Andrew Luck talked about Andrew Luck, who's basically a genius.
Yeah, sure.
The amount of time, how grueling it was mentally to get prepared for an NFL game as a quarterback. Just the amount of mental fatigue that was involved in getting prepared.
Sure.
He combined that with the amount of time that he had to spend in trying to rehab and trying to get physically ready to play. And he got to a point where football simply wasn't enjoyable anymore. But if Andrew Luck, who again is, I would argue, top 1% intelligent of all NFL players ever,
sure.
If he's talking about the mental fatigue that's involved in preparing for a game, you listen to people talk about Peyton Manning. Eli Manning was famous for being first one in the building, last one out. In the building at 6 a.m. on Monday morning, Tuesday morning. Well, they didn't practice at 6 a.m. He was in there for 2-3 hours of film before people showed up to start getting ready for the workday. If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. And if you're not willing to put that level of work in, then how committed are you to winning a Super Bowl? If I'm a teammate, that's my question. So are you in this to win a Super Bowl? Is that what we're here for? Because Aaron Rodgers wants to win a Super Bowl. I mean, Tom Brady keeps coming back almost into his 50s because he wants to win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of heat on Lamar Jackson. Why? Because he hasn't won a Super Bowl. So Kyler Murray gets this clause in his contract that really begs a lot of questions. It brings up so many questions from all perspectives, really. And it makes you wonder, I mean, how long, if he doesn't win now over the first couple of years of this contract, how long can Arizona not go, all right, we got to trade him. While he has value, we got to move him.
But I gave him a contract that's not movable.
I know. It's insane. The whole thing makes no sense.
Because what you are proving is you don't really believe in him. Deep down, you go, no, I got to pay this guy, but I'm having to babysit his desire.
You're putting you put an exit clause in the contract. It's the prenup.
That's barely 30 minutes a day of film.
Yeah, it's an hour. It's an hour a day for 4 days. They're basically asking, hey, look, dude,
look over this
Monday,
stuff.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, need you to study some film. When we go to practice on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, need you to be effective. We're trying to install this package against the Rams, against the Seahawks. The Bears are coming to town. Sure. They're throwing this look at you. We need you to be prepared for it. That's what it tells me. What it tells me is that on Thursdays and Fridays, on their practice days, he wasn't prepared. And it impacted their ability to be prepared as a team for the game coming up on Sunday afternoon. That's what it tells me. Yet you give him the money because why? Because there aren't but about 10 cats in the world that can play the position at a Super Bowl level. And you think maybe, just possibly, if he'd put the work in, he might be one of those guys. That's what it tells me. But you're putting in the prenup in the contract that goes, if you don't do this, we've got to get out. We'll be stuck in purgatory forever. Picking in the middle of the draft, year after year after year after year.
I mean, it's just a horrid look. It really is. I mean, it's just I didn't really believe in the Cardinals or him anyway, even though I know they've been a good quality franchise. I get it, but nah, I'm out. There's nothing where you go, yeah, I'm buying all the stock. We did the stock stuff on the SEC last week. Nope.
No.
I'm not buying stock in the Arizona Cardinals at this point.
No, it screams dysfunction. Because if I have to tell the leader of my team, hey, man, I need you to put down the iPad, you're playing way too much Candy Crush. If I'm having to tell him that, then we've got problems.
Yeah.
Because the great players,
that's not even
you're having to tell them, hey, man, listen, I'm about to lock you out because you're here too much.
Yeah, there's a line of decreasing returns where you're here too much. You got to rest. You got to eat. Yeah. Stop.
I've got guys that won't leave because you won't leave.
Yeah, go home.
Go home. Yeah. I need that dude. I need the gym rat who they're having to lock the door of the gym. Mm-hmm. And I'm having to pay the guy that he's paying to let him in to not let him in. I have that problem.
Yeah, I'll take that problem.
If I've got this problem, well, now I got a problem.
Yeah,
I want to deal with. I want to have the problem where I have Kobe Bryant making my ball boys go with him at 2:30 in the morning to some high school gym in Detroit to put shots up.
Yeah,
I need that problem.
Yeah,
because I know now that
I can manage that problem.
I know now that guy is driven to win titles. Maybe so driven to win titles that he's going to drive everyone around him insane, but I can handle that. If I've got to motivate the face of my franchise to want to do the extra to win, I got a problem.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting and understand your market. Leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704. or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're brought to you by MyPerfectFranchise.net. You're looking to diversify or you're looking to leave the corporate rat race to gain control of your income and schedule. MyPerfectFranchise.net offers the ability to create income and wealth Let Andy Ludecki guide you through a comprehensive franchise evaluation. He has tons of franchise and business ownership experience to lean on. If you hate your job, your boss, your pay, if you feel stuck, Andy can help. It's Andy at myperfectfranchise.net. We're brought to you. Oh, I hate when my computer does this. We're brought to you by Solutions RX. It's a probiotic multivitamin supplement company created by Ole Miss Pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. Solutions RX is pharmaceutical grade, manufactured right here inside the U.S. under the highest standards. If you take diabetes, high blood pressure, or cholesterol medications, they typically cause side effects like muscle pain, brain fog, and energy loss due to a depletion of minerals and vitamins in the body. Chris formulated a product called Prescription Support to put those vitamins back into your body to help with those side effects, helping you stay more compliant in taking your medications, helping you stay healthier over the long term. Solutions RX is available in local independent pharmacies across the continental U.S., including all across Mississippi, and you can find it on their website as well, solutionsrx.com. Promo code OEP at checkout to receive 10% off of your first order. Also brought to you by Holcomb Portable Buildings, 7991 Highway 7 South in Holcomb, Mississippi. At Holcomb Portable Buildings, they custom build your building to your specifications. However you want your carport, ATV or storage shed, barn, hunting cabin, or other buildings, Holcomb Portable Buildings can accommodate you. You pick the color, the style, the windows, the doors. Holcomb makes it happen. In-house financing available, free delivery, and set up within 75 miles of Holcomb as well. For more information, call 662-226-2233 or go to holcombbuildings.com. You can also find them on Facebook or Instagram at Holcomb Portable Buildings. And we're brought to you by Dead Soxy. It's the perfect gift for any budget, whether you're gifting for yourself or buying for others. Dead Soxy can help you celebrate with style. It's deadsoxy.com. Promo code RebelGrove for 25% off the best socks you'll ever put on your feet. We're also brought to you by Game Changer Patches. They're the only two-patch system available in the market. Stop hangovers before they start. Warm-up patch used before while you drink. Overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients keep you in the game, ready for the next play. GameChangerPatch.com. Promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase.
Podcast is brought to you by Prime Shrimp. That's primeshrimp.com. 5 different flavors ready to go for you, including their 2 most recent, the Simply Shrimp, the unseasoned, that you can take maybe for kids, for a more discerning palate. You can doctor it up yourself and have it ready to go. The garlic herb butter, also that's the meal in the bag, goes over rice, veggies, pasta, or whatever you got there for a full meal. Also goes great next to a steak, great surf and turf, shrimp scampi, and more. And then the newest item, the raw peel tell off, the IQF shrimp, just like you would get in the grocery stores, except a better quality, coming from this New Orleans company. 2 pounds of that available for shipment. Use code MPW for $20 off your first order. Again, primeshrimp.com. 10 minutes, freezer to plate, and ready to go. Shipped to you. Money back guarantee. Again, MPW is the code for $20 off with primeshrimp.com. Okay, let's jump into some quarterback stuff, some things we're going to do yesterday. I just thought that given our connection and being not in the same place, it was not necessarily the day for that. So, good, really, really good article every year The Athletic does. And here's kind of how it works. So, what they're doing is results for every veteran starter in the NFL. The results reflect voting from 50 NFL coaches and executives, including 6 general managers, 8 head coaches, 10 evaluators, 12 coordinators, 6 quarterback coaches, and 7 executives whose specialties include analytics, game management, and the salary cap. The remaining ballot was put together by 4 members of one team's personnel department. The panel placed 35 veteran quarterbacks into one of 5 tiers, obviously tier 1 to tier 5 in that order, and then the quarterbacks were ranked by average vote and placed into tiers based on vote distribution. So that is where we are. This survey excludes rookies because voters are not seeing them play in the NFL. And then more than one quarterback is featured for teams with unsettled quarterback starting situations. So that's it. Tier 1, it means a quarterback can carry his team each week. The team wins games because of him. He expertly handles pure passing situations, and he has no real holes in his game. This group of 50 NFL people, still, as he's getting up there in age, puts Aaron Rodgers, the number 1 quarterback in the NFL for the 2022 season. Well, I got no problem with that.
Back-to-back MVPs. He's been amazing. I mean, some people will criticize the playoff, and I get it. I don't know how much of the playoff stuff is his fault. He hasn't been fantastic in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he's been the best quarterback in the league.
He has been alone at the top in 8 of the 9 times they've done this article, and he was tied for first the other year. He has been sitting here for almost a decade in this story.
The Green Bay Packers 2 or 3 years ago used a first-round pick on Jordan Love.
They did.
That's a really questionable. I know people have written reams questioning it. How were you so ready to walk away from a quarterback who still had MVP caliber seasons in front of him instead of supporting him? If I'm a Packers fan, that really bothers me to the point that I don't really ever get past it.
When if it's a coordinator says, I can't wait to rate him as a 2, that'll be the favorite day of my career.
Yeah. Well, along the Kyler Murray lines, no matter how much you throw at him, he's prepared for it.
I mean, it's just crazy. The smirk, the shoulder shrug, the command of hurry up tempo in 2 minutes, he's got it all, a coach said. The head coach wants to run the field goal team on, and Rodgers waves them off, calls another play, completes it to make a field goal try easier, and then burns enough time so the kickoff coverage team didn't even have to run out there. The guy oozes tier 1 in ways other quarterbacks can only dream of doing.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's the point. I mean.
Well, when your team is playing against his team, and your team's up 4 with 1:16 to go, and you kick off to them, you're terrified.
Yeah, well, we'll get to Brady in a second. This stuff is interesting. An offensive coach says Brady's had the more decorated career with 10 Super Bowls and 7 rings, but I'll say this, Aaron Rodgers has helped elevate every player on that offense. Brady with N'Keal Harry did not elevate his game. Aaron has had Devontae Adams, but he's still waiting for a first-round receiver. They've not had great receivers overall, and he's still putting up major numbers. So, anyway. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, I don't have an issue with it.
A single contrarian voter prevented Mahomes from tying Rodgers at the top.
But I've got a hot take coming in a minute.
Okay.
Involving Mahomes that I don't even think is that hot of a take. There are guys not named Aaron Rodgers that I would take before Patrick Mahomes if you told me I could pick my quarterback.
One voter said we love Mahomes because of his unorthodox throws, not because of his natural pocket presence. And when that disappears, that's when they lose games. I don't think that's a 1. I think that's a 2. Nothing against the guy. I love the kid, but take his first read away, and what does he do? He runs, scrambles, and he plays street ball. Mahomes, during the past 3 seasons, has had 149 Tier 1 votes with just this single vote in Tier 2. So.
There are guys I would rather have that we're about to talk about in a minute.
Number 3, Tom Brady.
This feels like a Lifetime Achievement Award here, and I have no problem with the Lifetime Achievement Award, but I don't know that going into this particular season, Tom Brady's truly a Tier 1 quarterback anymore. Does he possess that downfield arm that all of those other guys have? Is how athletic is he anymore? I know he's very accurate. I know he's very cerebral, and he has intangibles just oozing out of every pore of his body, but the guy is in his mid-40s.
They point out that essentially, if you're talking isolating him for just his on-field contributions, that many voters have him high in Tier 2 instead of right here. However, the totality still puts him in this category. Brady's a 100%. One quarterback's coach says he can carry that offense. He is that offense. He has an all-star team around him, but just look at how that team oozes confidence and that they have 12 back and playing. They're a contender again this year, and it's all because of having him and just his mindset. Can they protect him? That's going to be the big question. You still have to give that dude a 1. He still has the physical skills, different from Peyton at the end of his career. Tom's going to get you in the right plays and make the right decisions, and he can still throw it. He can win games. It does feel Lifetime Achievement in a way. It feels like you want him for so much off-field stuff that you go, no, that's still – he can be my guy.
I mean, the point –
because remember, they're rating, hey, he's in my locker room. What does that do for me?
Well, I mean, Tampa wasn't considered a contender. He comes back, and all of a sudden people are talking about Tampa winning a Super Bowl. For the record, I don't think Tampa can win a Super Bowl. But I get it. I mean, the guy has – and he's earned it. He has the utmost respect of his peers. I mean, you've never heard a teammate go, yeah, Cat's overrated.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills.
He's the one. He's the one I would start thinking about at number 2.
You still have Rodgers 1, but you would contemplate Allen at 2.
And frankly, if you told me today, hey, we're starting a team, you can have the quarterback that you want, this is probably where I go. I probably go here or Herbert. I think about Burrow. And that's about it. I would take all 3 of those guys before I took Mahomes today.
He became the 9th player in quarterback tier's 9-year history to command Tier 1 votes on at least 75% of the ballots. Rodgers has done it 9 times, followed by Brady, Mahomes, Breeze, Russell Wilson, Peyton Manning, and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he's in that kind of air.
Josh Allen's a better version of Lamar Jackson. I love him as a football player. I still think he's erratic as a thrower, so he doesn't scare me the same way Rodgers does, but he's ascending.
Well, he can beat you with his feet the way that Jackson can, and he got a lot more accurate last season. And he's got that arm that can beat you on a cold night in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just not many weaknesses in his game. And he looks like he's putting the work in to strengthen some of the weaknesses.
Yeah, he's proven he can handle the big moments, one director said. He still throws interceptable balls, but he gives guys opportunities to make plays, and 9 times out of 10, they're making those plays. You can see the maturity. He used to make really egregious throws. He creeps in every now and then, but he's a big-time passer. So
his performance in that playoff game in Kansas City that got overshadowed by the overtime thing and the coin toss and all, I don't think people go back and give him the credit for how good he was that day.
Here's what's interesting. We're still Tier 1 on a guy that Neal loves. Career 15-17 record, but has made Tier 1, Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he's not 15-17 because of him.
One of only 4 quarterbacks to have reached Tier 1 prior to age 25. The other 3, Mahomes, Andrew Luck, and Deshaun Watson.
Super gifted, very smart, incredibly prepared, very competitive, athletic. I mean, I'd take Allen before him, but I'd think about it. The one that's next is the one that's the interesting one because Burrow gets compared to someone we just discussed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And if that comparison holds true, if we're still doing that in 15 years, then you're a fool not to have taken Burrow here.
I think he's the next guy. He's on his way because the thing with him, he's not quite the passer, but he's kind of like a bigger version of Aaron Rodgers. When we played them, I was like, damn, I didn't know this dude could move that well or he was this accurate. 5, 6, 7 years down the road, I think Mahomes, Allen, and Herbert will be the guys we're talking about. That's the big 3.
Can't argue that. I mean, the Aaron Rodgers comparison with him is natural. They look a lot alike, although this kid's bigger and I think he's more athletic than Rodgers. He's really good. They were not a good football team last year, and he kept them in a lot of games.
As you said, number 6, Joe Burrow. He started 26 regular season games, 4 in the playoffs. He's made it through 1 season healthy.
He got sacked 70 times last year and put up those numbers.
He did. Burrow's a young Tom Brady, a GM said, who placed Allen and Burrow in the top tier, but not Herbert. I think Herbert's shown he can do it in doses. Burrow's a step ahead. I think his mind's a lot quicker than Herbert's. Burrow wins with his brain. He's had to because he's played behind probably the worst offensive line to ever make a Super Bowl.
This is the interesting season for them because all of his receivers are back. Chase, Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
They made a change at tight end, but I think they became more physical at tight end, even though they gave up some athleticism down the field. Still have Mixon, who's a gift for a quarterback.
Sure.
Went out and got La'el Collins at left tackle, or right tackle, I should say. I guess left tackle is where they're putting Collins. Added 3 offensive linemen in free agency. Got much better in the interior. On paper, they're a much better offensive line. So this should be the season where he doesn't get hit as much. He's hyper-competitive. He's probably got to dial that back a little bit. He's got to avoid some of the hits. Some of the hits are avoidable. And there's a lot of Brady in him when you watch him play. He just willed that team last season to that playoff win in Nashville, that playoff win in Kansas City. They led late in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. I mean, he was right there.
The concern on him, one quarterback's coach, he got fooled on about fourth down in the Super Bowl. He predetermines a lot of his quick game. They'll spread it out and try to show him the picture. We can change the look for him. I think the kid locks in on some of those guys. Once you get a book on them a little bit, you can make these guys struggle a little. I'm not saying this is a guy you're going to take off the map. He's a competitor. I'm just saying he clearly predetermined some things, and until he grows out of that, he's a 2 for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
The ceiling's there, but...
Well, the ceiling for him is out of sight.
Because
in terms of intangibles...
All of them.
He literally has them all, and you saw that at LSU.
Yeah. He doesn't have Kyler's clause in his contract. We're good.
Yeah, no. And he's got a lot of that Brady leadership stuff. Guys love being around him. They like playing with him. And that's incredibly valuable.
We're in Tier 2. A Tier 2 quarterback can carry his team sometimes, but not as consistently. He can handle pure passing situations in doses or passes other dimensions that are special enough to elevate him above Tier 3. He has a hole or two in his game, the number 7 quarterback in the NFL, Super Bowl winner Matthew Stafford. About right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, cool. There's no even reason to go through a ton of it. I mean, he's got all the ability in the world. The arm is elite.
Yeah.
He was the perfect quarterback for what that team needed this past season with the Rams.
Yeah. I mean, he's
very damn good.
Yeah.
He got overshadowed being in Detroit for so long because they suck.
He did, and he got hit a lot in Detroit.
If he has a different route from his rookie season on, he would have spent some time in Tier 1.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he is that quarterback.
For sure.
But he's older now, and it's been...
Yeah.
Somebody said he still to this day has the best arm I've ever been around or seen, whether it's with a system that suits him and a good partnership with the head coach and all that. A Super Bowl ring gets you an upgrade in my book.
I would not have any problem with someone who put him in Tier 1.
Run it, play defense, and have a Tier 2 quarterback, and you'll win a lot of games with that, one head coach said.
It's true. And again, he's as close to Tier 1 as you can be.
It's incredibly good. Because, I think that's where the fall-off is. I think Stafford is closer up than anybody here, and I get this guy's 1-1-2, but I feel like this is kind of where that line really separates. Number 8, Russell Wilson. And I think Stafford is better than Wilson on
head and shoulders.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't get it on Wilson. I know he's got the big arm downfield, and he's good, but I've never gotten the superstar part with Wilson.
This is interesting. The difference with Russell is he's a lot more high maintenance, one GM said. He's got the entourage. He needs the office at the facility, the extra hotel rooms on the road, all that stuff. It'll be interesting how that dynamic works with a rookie head coach and a rookie offensive coordinator and how they gel. It's an interesting little extra thing there.
Well, and Denver has these high expectations for Wilson. They think he's going to come in and make them a 12-5 team that competes in the AFC West. And maybe he does.
That West is hell.
That West is an absolute bitch now. I mean, it's Kansas City, it's the Chargers.
Oakland's not bad, or Las Vegas is not bad.
No, Vegas is not bad, and they've got an absolute what you would expect Tier 2 quarterback to look like. And now they've given him a elite wide receiver in Adams, and I mean, the Raiders won't be pushovers.
Russell's been a high-level play-action shot, pocket extend plays quarterback, a defensive coordinator said. His drop-back game is well above average, but I don't think it's elite. This is going to be a legacy-defining change for him. Is he going to be that guy, or is he going to be what a lot of people thought but weren't sure because it was easy to blame Pete and the system and all that? So, anyway, yeah, I would not be buying stock in Russell Wilson at this point.
No, I think they have him too high.
One defensive coach says, my gut says he's a 2, but it's descending. And I think that's probably correct.
Yeah.
Number 9, and I don't know what in the hell to do with him, Deshaun Watson. And it kind of proves this in the votes. He got votes in tiers 1, 2, 3, and 1 and 5 because you have no idea what the situation is with him.
Well, physically, he's incredibly skilled.
Very good.
He's very accurate. He's got the big arm. He can move. Got a big body. He can take a beating. But all that stuff off the field is not avoidable. You don't even know. You're the Cleveland Browns, and you don't know for sure that he's going to be able to play the first few weeks.
Three quotes here that are fascinating from what we're talking about on what you do with him given the criteria of the voting and what we're actually talking about.
Okay.
The first one, a Tier 1 distraction is what Watson is. It blows me away paying the all-time NFL contract for a Tier 2 player. I still can't believe the Browns did what they did when GM said there's just too many unknowns. I know Andrew, and I just can't picture him doing that. Take the contract out of there. Just making this guy the face of your franchise and really not knowing, do we have him this year? Do we not have him this year? Will other stuff come up? I just can't imagine doing that. And then when the coordinator said, I know he's all screwed up, but he's a 1. I mean, I'm just rating him as a football player. That's all. He's a 1. He's legit. You could put the game on him. They were bad in losing in Houston, but it wasn't because of him. So, yeah, everybody's like,
yeah, sure.
All that is correct.
Yes.
All the way around.
No one's questioning the football player.
No, he's a hell of a football player.
I mean, my God. I mean, the Bears franchise never recovered from not taking him.
And next year he's either going to be back in Tier 1 or he's going to be Tier 5, basically. Yeah, I mean.
Well, the one thing that the guys got, I guess it was a GM that just says, what else is out there? I mean, that would be the problem with giving him the massive contract and making him the face of your franchise is when you go to bed at night, every night, you wonder, is this the news cycle that the scandal breaks? Like there's something really bad.
You don't know. Any day. Any day.
Yeah.
You wake up every day and that's the day.
Things that you really don't have to worry about, or I'm guessing you don't have to worry about with Burrow or Herbert or, I don't know, half the league, Derek Carr.
Yeah, sure. So we'll move on down the list in a second. For the about Northeast Spark, NESPARC, service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford Studio, your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's NESPARC.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, and more. So again, give them a call and they'll get the best internet in Lafayette County. That's 662-238-3159.
ACS is owned by my friend Clay McNutt, Baldwin, Mississippi. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider, a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. They've got a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. Go to acsllcms.com for more or give them a call at 662-601-4381. Brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry in Oxford. Lammon's, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford, serving the Oxford area for basically 3/4 of a century. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, and more. They've got it at Lammon's, lammonsfinejewelry.com or 662-234-2777. We'll be back to our live Thursday night shows probably next week is my guess, maybe the week after that, but in August for sure. Those are brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call the people at Southern, 662-429-4429. College Corner's your one-stop Rebel shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area and Ridgeland. It's next to Fleet Feet, and Flowwood, it's next to Half Shell. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com and find them on Facebook and Instagram. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in Central Mississippi. We'll be back with another Mind on My Money on Thursday. That's brought to you by Pinnacle. They represent clients in more than 20 states. They've got advisors in multiple states as well. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. MyPinWealth.com, MyPINN Wealth.com. If you're thinking about doing some traveling here in the last couple of weeks of the summer, if you're thinking about a holiday trip already, get in touch with John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. All you got to do is get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget. He's going to give you options that you're probably not going to find on your own. You don't have to live in Memphis to take advantage of his services either. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. And we're brought to you by Opa. It's Oxford's newest restaurant on the square. Gyros, wraps, kebabs, redfish, lamb chops. handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, candlelit patio, and more. All of that at 306 South Lamar, just south of the Square Courthouse in Oxford.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer Medicine for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. Also, with their med packs, you get your medicine individually packaged if you need that extra step. Maybe that's helping parents or a loved one in your life that needs that step. So, again, then you have a morning pouch, afternoon pouch, everything in one place when you need it with G&M. Again, that's in Oxford, 662-236-2222. All right, let's see. Moving on. Number 10, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, and that's probably about the right area for him. I got no real problem there.
Yeah, it might be a spot low, but it's okay. I mean, I think he's a top 10 quarterback.
I would rather have him than Russell at this point of their careers.
I would too. I'd rather have him. He's beginning to pay for the Ravens' lack of playoff success.
Which is
his reputation is paying for it, and probably deservedly so at this point. You get opposing defensive coordinators anonymously say that's kind of who we'd want to play in the playoffs.
The two quotes that make it all out is what we're talking about. Number one, this coming from a defensive coordinator. You cannot go into a game and not account for this guy. Like, we're meeting with people every offseason to find out how they would defend this type of offense. At the same time, I can totally see why you can go anywhere from 1 to 3 on him tier-wise. If he has to drop back and throw the ball, it's not the same. But if he's on rhythm and they're running the ball and they're running play action off of it, if you can't count for that dude, he's going to kill you. If he has to pass to win the game, they aren't winning the game, another coordinator said. He's so unique as an athlete, and he's a really good football player, but I don't care if he wins the league MVP 12 times. I don't think he'll ever be a 1 as a quarterback. He'll be a 1 as a football player, but not as a quarterback. So many games come down to 2 minutes, and that's why they have a hard time advancing when they are that good on defense. Playoffs are tight. You have to be able to throw the ball, and he's just inconsistent throwing the ball. It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
It's all fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but he's 8, 9, 10.
Then one guy who did vote for him tier 1 says a defensive coach, to me it's nonsense he's not tier 1. He's one of the more special talents to ever play the game, and Baltimore's only a contender because of him.
And that's fair too.
That is true.
Yep.
Number 11, Dak Prescott. The ultimate just, who knows?
Well, now we're getting into these guys that if you surround them with everything they need, they can probably get you to where you're trying to get.
But good God.
But if you don't, their deficiencies show up. And it also shows you, because we're talking about guys like Prescott at this spot, he's been in the league for a long time. He's probably going to be in the league for a long time. Shows you how hard it is to find a franchise quarterback.
It's the good player league of the tier of this. It's what this has been one of our running things on this podcast for nearly a decade. You're in purgatory in this tier because you convince yourself you got the guy and you just got to help a little more and help a little more, and you got it.
You almost have him.
And unless you're going out and making some deal for an undisputed top 3 quarterback, you can only get worse.
Well, because Dak Prescott has games where you go, that dude's a dude.
Well, and look, there aren't 15 people in the world who play quarterback better than Dak Prescott.
No, but he'll have 5 games over the course of a season that you go, oh, man, he's something else now.
If he could just do that in the playoffs, we would.
Yeah, because he does things that those guys that we're going to get to in tiers 3 and 4 can't do. They never have those games.
No.
He does have those games. He has those games where he puts an NFL team on his back and carries them to a win.
Mm-hmm. So the question is, can he be Matt Stafford? Can he put it all together for that season?
Maybe. Stafford had to go someplace where he was surrounded with everything that he needed.
Dak's kind of been there.
I know.
That's the thing here. I mean, it says it's here. It says
they've had their chances.
Yeah, he played like how he always does. A head coach said he's a solid player, really solid. He's not going to change and all of a sudden become something more special. He's had a premium setup, premium offensive line, premium skill position players. And you know what he's done? He's been really solid. They've won a ton of football games. He has legitimate intangibles in terms of his leadership and toughness, and he's a good player, which is the epitome of this tier. Mm-hmm. He's a good football player.
Yeah, I mean, like, this isn't fair.
You're not running it off. You're not kicking him out of bed for eating crackers. Like, he's fine.
This isn't fair to him, but, like, what kind of career would Eli Manning have had had he been surrounded with the talent in New York that Prescott has been surrounded with in Dallas? What kind of career how many rings would Aaron Rodgers have if he'd been surrounded by that kind of talent?
Well, it's a good point in our stream. I think you're probably right. Lamar Jackson's the quarterback of the Cowboys, and they might have won a ring.
Probably so.
He'd had better receivers, had a line that really would have protected and allowed him to run around.
If Andrew Luck had had that offensive line, he's probably still playing today.
Yeah, he's Hall of Famer Andrew Luck that we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, Dak is almost as fascinating as anybody. I like these two guys being in the same tier. I think it's relevant. Number 12, Derek Carr, Las Vegas Raiders. Good quarterback.
Again,
underrated quarterback, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Really underrated. People aren't mentioning him enough.
I think you could put him at 10 and make an argument.
He's close to tier 1, Derek Carr, a head coach said, just from an intellect standpoint. He always puts them in a good position. He makes a lot of good decisions, but similar to Dak and Matt Stafford, there's something different in Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes and Allen. Carr's a notch below those guys. He can't quite overcome it when it's bad around him. That is the epitome of what we're talking about.
Yeah. But he will have 5 of those games where you go, ooh, man. Because he's more skilled than he gets credit for. And he's very cerebral and all of those things.
I've coached a good bit against him, and he sees it. He makes checks. He can operate the offense. He has all the physical skills, the coordinator said. His issue is he just doesn't like to get hit. You hit him a lot, and then you can kind of get to him. But if he's on time and on rhythm or protected, he can do it all.
Yeah. No problem there.
Number 13, the man of the hour, Kyler Murray. You paid that for number 13.
That's the first thought that went through my mind.
All this for 13.
I mean.
Because, look, they can be really good, and I kind of pull for them in a weird way in the AFC, the Chiefs. I do. I mean, the Chiefs, the Raiders.
Cardinals.
Yeah, no, the Raiders.
Raiders.
Something about Derek Carr. I don't know why. I just found myself kind of pulling for Derek Carr and the Raiders a little bit when I have nothing else to do.
I'll tell you this. I want to go back to that stadium and go to an NFL game in it.
Yeah.
That stadium is freaking amazing. No matter what you think of the Raiders, that stadium is absolute incredible. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I mean, I guess my point is I kind of pull for Carr. I sort of pull for the Raiders a little bit in a weird, no real tie to it way.
Sure.
Everybody has those teams. But I don't think he's winning a Super Bowl, just like I don't think Kyler Murray is winning a Super Bowl. They're good. They're fine. They're cool. They're neat.
Typically, guys ranked 11 through 13 don't win Super Bowls.
I thought about giving him a 3 because the meltdown against the Rams in the playoffs was a true meltdown. By the same token, he's talented. He's athletic. He runs around. He extends the down, makes plays with his feet. It's difficult because he's not a big-bodied guy, and that shows up at times. I think he's a wide receiver mentality playing quarterback. Things have to be a certain type of way for him to have success. Being more of a loner or introvert at the position is tough.
He wasn't prepared for that playoff game.
He's called streaky in this.
It got glossed over because the Rams ended up winning the Super Bowl, and the Rams were so good. But the Rams were not playing great football down the stretch, and they destroyed the Cardinals in that playoff game in a way that you don't really see teams get beat in the playoffs.
His completion rate, yards per attempt, passer rating, and EPA per pass have increased every year he's been in the league. His production has been much better in September and October than in the second halves of seasons. 7 of his 8 fourth-quarter comebacks and game-winning drives fell in the first 9 games of the year, according to Pro Football Reference.
So when his team's a little banged up and they're saying, hey, carry us, he can't.
Or he's a little banged up. He's small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want the guy that goes, you know what, he's a hell of a first-half player. Well, that's doing me a lot of good.
No. I want the cat that's winning games in December and January.
He's playing in Arizona. The climate's good. Underrated career, even though I have spent a lot of time hating him. Number 14 still, Matt Ryan. And this shows the line of demarcation that we have.
Yeah.
That you go, okay. Now we're in dudes that.
Well, he will forever look back on one fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean, he had a shot to get a ring.
28-3.
Yeah.
It was there.
Yeah, the ring was basically on his finger.
Yeah. I don't really have a problem with him being there, but I would have him in tier 3. I mean, look, they know way more than me, but career-wise, I get it. He's had a hell of a career. But for the season, I have a hard time putting him in the same category with those other dudes. We do move to tier 3 now. A legitimate starter, but needs heavier run game or defensive complements to win. A lower volume draft brought back passing offense suits him best. Number 15, Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Got no problem with that.
Yeah.
The Vikings for a long time thought he could be that Stafford kind of guy that could put it together for 1 year.
And he can't. He's a purgatory quarterback.
Because most of the conversations in this are discussing, would you rather have him or Matt Ryan or something like that? Okay, but that's still not changing your
right.
That's not changing your franchise at that point. But he is better than a lot of guys we haven't named at this point.
Sure. No, I mean he has no problem getting an NFL gig.
16, Jimmy Garoppolo. He's actually underrated a little bit.
For whatever reason, he gets beat up, media-wise and such. I don't know what that's about. I'm guessing
his numbers aren't great. He just he's boring a little bit.
But he's played pretty well for the most part. Had a nice playoff run last year.
He's 25-12 as a starting quarterback in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
They averaged 25.3 points per game last season when they had him, and 16.5 when he was out. It's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, had a huge win in Green Bay and played the Rams about as well as you could play them last year. Almost pulled that off. And that was almost Niners-Bengals Super Bowl.
Jimmy fits that tier 3 category perfectly, one quarterback's coach says. Like you say, a lower volume drop back pass offense, lots of movement, lots of play action, lots of eye candy with fly and jet sweeps. And then you need playmakers around him like he has actually had in San Francisco.
Yeah.
One of the places that really has done a good job with Deebo Samuel. And
Garoppolo is interesting because, they're letting him negotiate a deal someplace and get traded. And so you're kind of seeing if there's a market for him.
Yeah.
What is the market for Garoppolo? And I have a feeling some NFL teams look at it and go, he's a ticket to the middle of the draft.
An obvious one here, maybe a spot or two low. I think probably a spot or two, but I think it is the right tier. Ryan Tannehill at 17.
Yeah.
I think it's a little low, but
I'm not even sure it's low. It's about right. He's fine.
Because he had tools.
So many.
He had toys to play with. I mean, it was right there.
It just didn't happen. Why? Because he got beat by a better quarterback.
Tannehill relied on the team more than the team relied on him because of the moments when he could have brought the team back, especially when they played against Kansas City. Couldn't make it happen. I'm still waiting for that defining moment from Tannehill. It still hasn't happened yet, and that's why I have him as a tier 3. He's got tier 2 potential and talent, but just in the big moments, it hasn't translated. Fair.
Yeah, it's more than fair. And yet, he's a steady quarterback. He makes plays.
One offensive coach said he is the AFC version of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Yeah. Good quarterbacks. Cousins is a good quarterback. Never going to be a great one.
18, Mac Jones. You moving him up soon? You think he's a guy that's a tier 2 down the road?
I think it's possible, sure. He's going to put the work in. I guarantee you they're not having to worry about him getting
contract's
distracted.
Good. Yeah.
I guarantee you they don't ever spend a moment going, is he going to be prepared? Now, he might spend moments wondering what his ceiling is. Does he possess the elite skills that you have to become tier 1? But they'll never question his prep. He could move up. I mean, he's one to put a star by. Certainly
You think
possible.
it's possible he could be a...
Oh, I think it's possible he could be a high tier 2 quarterback, sure.
Where he could win a ring if it's all right around him.
Yeah, of course. Wouldn't bet against him.
Yeah. I don't think he's Burrow, Allen, Herbert.
No, but he could be
in that next situation with the right guys around him and be a pain.
Yeah, he could be a tier 2 guy that is
we
solid.
could have 10 years of doing the Mac Jones, Josh Allen in the same division battling.
Yeah.
I get they're different, but
yeah.
Baker Mayfield at 19.
I mean, an NFL team went out and got him to go compete in their room.
The word humble, as in he needs to be humbled, comes in 5-6 times in these quotes that I'm reading.
Yeah.
That the talent is there to be at least better, but it's going to be over if he doesn't figure it out.
It feels like this is the pivotal season in his career. What does he do in Carolina? I mean, I think he's going to win the job. They brought him there to win the job. Does he become that team guy that he was at Oklahoma, or does he continue to be a bit of a problem?
Something's missing there. I don't know what it is, the head coach said. I like his feistiness. I'm okay with that. He's not bad, but there's not one player that stuck up for him during this whole thing. Not one guy said, hey, this is my guy. So I don't know. If you put the tape on, his play's not brutal.
Yeah.
It's fair. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's fine. Not a bad quarterback.
Number 20, and we'll kind of start moving through this pretty quickly now, Jalen Hurts at 20. They did think he could potentially ascend into Tier 2 with a lot of improvement, but...
A lot. I watched them a good bit last year, and Nah. It's fine.
Carson Wentz tied for 20 with Hurts.
Again. One of those guys.
Jared Goff, 22.
Just has limitations. The fact that the Rams moved off of him.
Goff was first and Wentz was second in the 16 draft.
Yeah.
Those were misses.
There's no guarantees, man. I mean,
misses.
There's no guarantees in the draft.
And look, credit to the Rams for getting away from him.
Yes.
Because that does take some ability to go, you know what? Nope. He's not bad. We can convince ourselves. Because, look, they've been a damn good playoff. Yeah. They've been a good regular season team for a long time. We've got this defense.
They had to admit, hey, we kind of made a mistake here.
Yeah. We're not bad, but we got to get better if we're going to win this thing.
We're going to move on and go get somebody who can get us to the next level.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah. They rented a quarterback, and it worked out. So there was a credit there. But Goff has never done anything to impress you that he's about to go take over games and be that guy.
No.
Yeah. Still in this same tier, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Right now, that's all we got 1 year. I mean, okay, sure.
Yeah, I'm not ready to condemn Lawrence, but he didn't wow anyone last season.
He's in Jacksonville.
Yeah. It was a mess, and there were distractions there. That was not your ideal rookie year for a quarterback. But I think it's safe to say that there's still a lot of case that has to be heard before that even goes to the jury.
I'm going to need a second before I go on down the list in a minute, so I will do that in just a second after a breather. First, talk about Johnson Hill Creamery, johnsonhillcreamery.com. They got a late summer cheese class coming. It's October 25th from 6 to 7:30. It includes lots of different ways to learn how to get your charcuterie board right for the kind of the fall, the holiday season when we do a lot more of those things. It's going to be located at their shop at 1503B White Oak Lane in Oxford. They're a limited 12-person per class, so call ahead. Also, all students will be able to take their completed charcuterie box home with them. Give them a call, give them an email, and secure your spot. That's 662-419-9201. Remember, they make all their cheeses locally and in-house every single day here in Oxford. Again, 662-419-9201.
Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency has been connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're on the job hunt, they can help you, whether you're seeking an entry-level position or you're a seasoned professional. It's always free for the candidate. Conversations are always kept confidential, so you've got nothing to lose by giving them a call. If your company's looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, Service Specialists can help you as well. Keep in mind, payment of service solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate they send. You got nothing to lose, so give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138 or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. We're brought to you by The Rogue. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or therogue.com. And don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward. Chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile, so call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment, financing available at corinthdental.com. Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. They've got 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails, a lot to be offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings from beginner lessons with trainer Susan Walt to buying your first horse and competing at nationally recognized competitions. To learn more, get in touch with Bowers Cone. That's Bowers Cone, the number 1, at gmail.com or message them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm.
Number 24, one Jameis Winston with the New Orleans Saints, say that he had 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions before suffering a torn ACL last season. He also had career best in big-time throw percentages and turnover-worthy play rates, according to Pro Football Focus. Essentially, it's kind of an asterisk thing here for Winston for the most part. It says, I like a lot what he was doing last year. I'm excited to see what it looks like coming back from injury. I put him as a 3. I think he'll end up as a 3, but if he can protect the football with that defense, he might have a shot of really impressing people. The Saints are telling everyone they're all in on the season. That's exciting if I am Jameis. It says, I think if he was there for Sean Payton, Sean could get him to play like a 2. I like Jameis. He wants it. He's hungry. I think he works, and it means something to him, and he competes. He's just not a great decision maker, and has kind of a casual personality. Decision-making improvement's hard to do. I think they've taken the ball out of his hands a little bit. They're trying to coach the renegade out of him.
I thought before he got hurt last year, he was playing really well.
He was really good last year.
So he's got all the skills in the world. Feels like he's been humbled.
But it's a hell of a leap because what you need is basically, look, the Saints are really good defensively. They've got some talent. They're still in their window with quarterback play, but that's one hell of an if over here.
Yeah.
It's can he be Matt Stafford? And that's just a hell of a leap.
That's a lot to ask.
It's
a lot to ask.
The tools are similar.
Yeah.
He's got an arm. But.
Yeah. It's maybe. Look, the Saints are one of the more interesting teams in the league because if you told somebody, hey, they go 12-5 and Winston's really good, you go, I can see it. And if they go, hey, you know what, they went 7-10 and they just didn't have it, you go, I can see that too. Kind of volatile.
I mean, I'm doing what I make everybody make fun of is, hey, I try to convince myself I've got one of those dudes. And maybe it's me trying to convince
could be one of those dudes.
But I'd rather have him than some of those dudes at 12, 13, 14, and 15. I've got a higher ceiling.
Would you rather have him or Dak?
It's very similar. I'd rather have him than Cousins.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him than Matt Ryan.
Would you rather have him than Tannehill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I saw that last year. Tannehill
if somebody offered you Lamar Jackson right now, you're jumping up and down.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather have Jameis than Baker.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. Because with Jameis, at least the upside's there.
Yes, I'm saying. I mean, that's all I'm worried about here is upside.
I'm never getting there with Baker.
Because you go, hey, he's just a really solid quarterback. Well, that's not doing me any damn good.
Right.
Give me the guy that if he does throw it together, I go, well, okay.
Yeah, the guy who's got a hammer in his
what I expect is to make the playoffs, to go 11-6, make the playoffs, and then him throw 3 picks in the divisional round playoff game and lose.
Yeah.
That's what I'm anticipating. Going to Lambeau and losing a game. They'll be like the 5 seed or whatever, and we'll 4. Because I think they're going to get in the playoffs. They're not bad. The Saints are not a bad team.
No, not a bad team at all. Have a chance to be a good team.
Yeah.
In a division where they could win games.
They could. Carolina, Atlanta are both.
Yeah.
Tampa's got a 68-year-old quarterback.
You could go 5-1 in the division.
And frankly, the Saints beat Brady in the regular season.
Yeah. I mean, 5-1 in the division's not out of the realm.
No. Justin Fields at 25. Okay.
Look, I want to be wrong here, but I didn't see it last year. I watched a bunch, and I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. Frankly, he was bad. Young quarterback, give him a benefit of the doubt, but he was not good. Had a flash here and there, but it was rare.
It's more instincts and awareness to blitzes, the clock, those type of things. There's some quarterbacks maybe not as smart who have all that. They think that he potentially can climb into being a tier high 8, maybe a 2, high tier 3 as he develops.
Maybe. I just didn't see it last year at all.
And he has nothing around him.
No, they're awful.
Which is going to limit it. Tua Tagovailoa, number 26.
Well, he gets one last year, and if it doesn't happen this year, he's a bust, and they start moving on. I mean, this is it.
He doesn't have a bad team around him.
No,
they put some stuff together.
They've given him some weapons.
In a tough-ass division.
This is it. There are a lot of people questioning the intangibles on him and starting to question whether he has the physical tools.
They get Tyreek Hill. They get Terran Armstead, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'll put an asterisk next to him. I'm not ready to completely give up that he's going to be some bust and be horrible as an NFL player.
He was bad last year.
He was.
Yeah.
But if I'm
okay.
I mean, look, 27 is Davis Mills. I'm going to buy Tua over Davis Mills.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, Davis is a placeholder in Houston because they suck.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Laramie's just counting his money, going, they're paying me a lot of money to sit here and do this. Somebody said Davis reminds him of a better Dandy Dalton. Dalton was straight tier 3, tier 2 in his prime.
Yeah, Dalton.
He's the award of what we're talking about is you convince yourself you had a guy. The Bengals convinced themselves they had a guy in Dalton.
They kept telling themselves, we're just
It's the Andy Dalton tier.
Sure.
Yeah, they actually, to be 27, like some of the quotes here are not bad. They think he can turn into a Garoppolo.
Okay. So it goes
what's that doing for
27 to 17? Yeah, sure.
Zach Wilson, 28. He's got talent. He's got all the physical talent. Defensive coach from the East said he's not lacking any skill set from a tool standpoint. They did a good job trying to draft and surround him with people. It'll be a big year for him to take a leap. It was a bad team last year, and he made a lot of mistakes. We will have to have a better sense. We'll have a better sense after this year.
I watched a good bit of the Jets last year. I would rather have him than Justin Fields right now.
Would you?
Mm-hmm.
Trey Lance at 29.
We don't know yet.
Don't know. I mean, he played a little bit, but
yeah. But you talk about a physical skill set.
That would be my early Christmas present if they would just get rid of Jimmy, so that way we can't play. He can't play for them, and then they make Trey be your guy, a coach whose team plays the 49ers this season. So.
Wow. Well, that tells you that also tells you the respect that they have for Garoppolo, the mind. And Garoppolo competes like a sumbitch. And guys play hard for him. I don't know about Lance. I just know nothing. I mean, you have to give him a complete incomplete at this point.
Sure, the more he plays, the better he'll probably get, but he's a 4. I feel like he's probably the bottom 4 for me, a voter from the NFC West. Just thinking about it, you get Russell Wilson out of here, and now you get Trey Lance playing, and it's like, oh, thank you. It just went from a really good quarterback division to being one of the softer divisions.
Interesting. Yeah. Who's after Lance?
Daniel Jones at 30.
I mean,
he is what he is.
A guy that I catch myself cheering for.
I kind of do too, because he didn't deserve he was taken too high and it wasn't his fault.
Right.
I mean, it's the coach who gets the job and you go, oh, he sucks because we should have been hired anyway. I mean, why am blaming him? I'm not calling Daniel Jones at Orgeron, but that's kind of like
He seems like such a good guy.
He does.
I mean, you just kind of I will watch the Giants and just, come on, man. Come on. Man,
get it done.
Come on, here we go.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
31, Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
Been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Hasn't had a bad career, honestly.
No.
Sam Darnold at 32.
Well, tells you everything about why the Panthers went out and got Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. And Matt Corral.
Yeah.
It's Baker's job.
Yeah. I mean, if not, it's a total disaster there.
Darnold had never received a Tier 5 vote until this offseason when he got 12 of them.
He'd always been lower than that?
Well, no, higher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came down. That's unfortunate, a quarterback coach said, but we just don't see the good football IQ, which contributes to his struggles. Physically, he has everything. It's like, come on, what's going on? But it seems like I continue to hear the same thing regardless of where he is. He just can't put it together. Mitch Trubisky, 33, your boy.
I mean, again,
Drew.
He's getting an opportunity.
Drew Lock, 34. Okay.
Sure.
I made his sister mad back in the day, so I'm going to be nice. I got hate mail.
I
still have family.
I still have his bobblehead somewhere.
And then there is one quarterback in Tier 5 by himself.
Okay.
A Tier 5 quarterback is best suited as a backup.
Okay.
Which is amazing to me. A couple of these guys aren't, but nonetheless. And it is one Geno Smith, who is the starting quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, my God. He's still in the league?
Well, I guess Locke could be too. Yeah, their two quarterbacks are 34 and 35.
Yeah. Going to be rough in Seattle.
In that division. L.A., Arizona, San Francisco.
But you've got a pretty strong quarterback draft coming up.
You do.
So that's the prize. I assume they still have their pick. That's the prize if you tank.
Everybody who's ever coached him has loved this guy. You love him as your backup. If he has to start more than 4 or 5 games, I just don't see him going to do the whole thing Unfortunately, I got to say he's a 5. He does a good job when he comes off the bench and maintaining things and managing the game, but he's not going to elevate the team at this point. I think he's good to come out of the bullpen and pitch 4 or 5 good innings, then give it back to the ace to close things out. So, interesting exercise, getting us ready for the NFL season. And Franklin will be here before you know it. We're not too far away from things really kicking off for the fall.
So I gather from the board that there were some NFL uniform reveals yesterday.
I saw the helmets. I haven't seen actual uniforms. I saw the alternate helmets that are being put into play in the last couple of days.
Okay.
For this, yeah, we can save those for tomorrow.
Yeah, I was looking.
Have those.
13 NFL teams
with
introduce
helmets.
alternate helmets.
Yeah, because you can do that this year. You can put a lot more helmets in this time. So
I don't hate the Saints with the black and the.
It's okay. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's all right.
I'm looking real quick just to see if anything just blows me away. I like the old school Giants helmet. I don't know what the Commanders are doing. The Commanders deserve Tony the Land Shark. They're so lost with.
They should get him too.
They should just take him and say, "Well, it doesn't make sense." Well, of course it doesn't.
They could get the Bear from Lenore Ryan.
Ole Miss should go get the Bear from Lenore Ryan, but that's another topic. I don't hate the Panthers. The dark helmet.
Oh, is it black? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. I like the Falcons throwback. I love the Patriots throwback. That's fine. I don't hate the Bengals, the white helmet with the stripes. I love that old Patriots uniform.
Oh, it's great.
I mean,
it's maybe the best suit in the NFL.
I don't know why you'd ever even get away from that. Anybody introduce new jerseys or anything?
I have not seen those, if so, at least to this point.
Okay. Yeah, apparently people really like the Bengals, the white tiger look.
There's a little trading card baseball news as we close. The finest 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle card, which everybody would recognize if they see it, to ever reach the auction block open for bidding today. What do you think the final price will be on August 27th? In the first 24 hours of bidding, the card has now surpassed $6 million with more than a month left in the auction. It's $600,000 away from the record price paid for a trading card, which, of course, is the T206 Honus Wagner card that everybody talks about. So, yeah, 6.6, the record, and Mantle well on his way with a 9.5 out of 10 condition 1952 card there for Mickey Mantle. You know, there are plenty of people who had those in their houses that their parents threw away or in the basement for years and decades and whatnot over the years. So, anyway. All right, more tomorrow. We'll have stuff at Rebel Grove as the day moves on. We'll be back with you. So, all of you have a wonderful day. We'll talk a little more college stuff tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Take care.